The shadows are lengthening and the legendary outlaw is finally stepping out into the light. This is the story of a hero who has been called everything from a furry lover to a straight-up hitman. Meet the cat with the main character energy who is about to risk it all for one final score. The feline legend introduces himself with that signature swagger we all know and love. But beneath the bravado, Puss is clearly haunted by memories of his past flames. He tries to make a smooth exit before things get too awkward in the dead of night. Suddenly, chaos erupts as a shadowy figure forces our hero into a high-stakes standoff. Puss reflects on his life as a fugitive, always looking over his shoulder for the lull. The atmosphere shifts as destiny comes knocking on his door with fireworks and tension. Puss struts into a local tavern where the vibe is immediately hostile and super toxic. The locals try to roast him, but they have no idea who they are actually messing with. Puss plays it cool, pretending to be a humble dotto while scanning for a lucrative payday. Some dudes think they can turn him in for cash, but that is a massive mistake. Puss warns them that his temper is the last thing they want to trigger tonight. Even with his rough reputation, he holds on to a strict code of ethics regarding orphans. He pivots the conversation toward the most legendary item in the entire fairy tale world. The boys reveal they have actually seen the magical items that grow into the sky. The promise of the golden goose is enough to make any outlaw lose their composure. The potential wealth is insane, enough to secure all 9 of his lives forever. Everyone knows stealing from Jack and Jill is basically a one-way ticket to disaster. But Puss is fueled by an internal drive that goes way deeper than just gold. He finally catches a glimpse of the prize that could change his entire trajectory. Jack and Jill burst into the room, bringing a chaotic and murderous energy with them. Their obsession with baby muffins is weirdly specific and honestly kind of terrifying. Jack drops a bombshell about his future plans that leaves his partner totally stunned. Jill thinks he has completely lost it since his head injury, and she is not wrong. Their relationship is low-key toxic and filled with constant threats of extreme violence. Jack is absolutely spiraling, proving that he is truly a loose cannon in this heist. Suddenly, gunfire breaks out and the bar descends into absolute carnage and mayhem. Puss realizes his chance at the score is literally exploding before his very eyes. He dodges obstacles and confused locals while trying to keep his composure intact. The townspeople panic, thinking the mythical beast has arrived to claim their souls. In the middle of the madness, a mysterious feline combatant appears to challenge him. Puss is heated because his golden opportunity just got ruined by this sleek intruder. It turns out the duel is actually a high-speed dance battle, which is totally wild. The trash talk reaches a fever pitch as they spin and leap across the tavern. Puss uses his signature moves, but his opponent is definitely keeping up with him. He delivers a classic, menacing line, but the vibe is interrupted by a guitar. Puss is in complete shock that he just got clobbered by a musical instrument. The mask comes off and he realizes his mysterious rival is a total knockout. He tries to switch into his smooth lover persona to save face after the fight. His senses sharpen as he detects a scent that links to a painful past. Out of the shadows steps someone from his past that he never wanted to see again. It is Humpty Dumpty, the person responsible for his deepest childhood trauma. Humpty acts like everything is cool, but the tension is thick enough to cut. Puss confronts him about the betrayal that left him standing alone on that bridge. Humpty tries to play the Brotherhood card to manipulate Puss back into his orbit. He admits to orchestrating the entire encounter to bring Puss into his new plan. The mystery cat has a name and a reputation for being the smoothest thief in Spain. Humpty pushes the narrative that they need a team to survive the giant's castle. He insists he has studied the job for years and needs Puss's legendary sword skills. The pitch is tempting, but Puss knows exactly how manipulative Humpty can be. He asks for a truce, but Puss is not biting on his weak excuses yet. Humpty tries to play down the 7 years of silence between them like it is nothing. The egg makes a pun that just proves how much of a nightmare he really is. Puss is clearly disgusted and ready to walk away from this whole toxic situation. He lets his frustrations out, calling Humpty out for his literal and metaphorical mess. Kitty interrupts the tension, flashing some coin she swiped during the chaos. Puss finds himself drawn to her energy despite all the red flags flying around. She wants to team up, and the thought of stealing golden eggs is too good. She reminds him of their little guitar scuffle, and it is honestly a fair point. He finally admits his mistake, trying to clear the air for a potential partnership. The tension shifts from hostility to a tentative, dangerous alliance between two outlaws. There is always a catch, and Kitty knows exactly what is standing in their way. The fact that she is on Humpty's payroll is a massive red flag for our hero. She tries to probe into the history that makes Puss so hesitant to trust again. Puss knows that some secrets from the past are buried way too deep to dig up. The chemistry is undeniable, even if he knows the egg is pulling the strings. The promise of gold is blinding, and they are both ready to play the game. The heist is officially on, and the stakes could not be higher for them. He still cannot get over how she totally schooled him during that dance fight. The debt is acknowledged, setting the stage for their upcoming adventure together. Puss is realizing that he cannot finish this mission without accepting some help. He tries to project that classic Puss charisma to cover up his internal conflict. The adventure is just beginning, and things are about to get real chaotic fast. Puss sits down to finally spill the tea on his tragic backstory. He reveals his rough start, being a homeless kitten with literally zero vibes. He ended up at an orphanage where Imelda took him in, giving him a real home. Imelda was the queen of the orphanage, keeping everyone in line with a single command. That is when he walked in, and the main character energy was honestly unmatched. He met Humpty, the egg who would become the most chaotic influence in his life. The other kids were already being total haters, claiming Humpty's spot immediately. Puss stepped up to defend his new homie, setting the stage for their legendary bond. The bullies tried to terrorize Humpty, but Puss was having none of that toxicity. After the egg stood up for him, Puss made a pact to stick by him no matter what. There was just something about Humpty that felt different, like he had big plans. Humpty was secretly obsessed with finding magic beans, acting low-key suspicious. He whispered about his secret stash, trying to see if Puss would play along. Humpty tried to give him a nickname, but Puss wasn't feeling those vibes at all. Humpty was always cooking up some wild plan, dreaming of things beyond their reality. He actually tried to jump off a ledge to fly, which was honestly unhinged behavior. His entire personality was built around finding that legendary golden goose and her treasure. At first, Humpty tried to push Puss away, acting like he wanted all the clout alone. Puss pulled out the iconic sad kitten eyes, and Humpty instantly folded. They officially decided to become partners, cementing a pact that would change everything. They promised to stay together, locked in a brothers forever mindset. The quest for magic beans was officially on, and they were ready to secure the bag. It was a classic duo setup, with Humpty doing the thinking and Puss doing the heavy lifting. Humpty was constantly getting himself into trouble, showing he was definitely not built for action. They searched high and low for those beans, but they were ghosting them for years. Despite the failures, Humpty kept reassuring Puss that they were a team against the world. As they got older, the dream felt less like reality and more like a total cope. They started getting into real trouble as teens, constantly pushing Imelda to her limit. Imelda never lost faith in them, even when they were clearly on the wrong path. Humpty tried to get Puss to act out, but the vibes were feeling off. Suddenly, Puss became the town hero by saving someone important, leveling up his social status. The whole town was suddenly riding for Puss, calling him a genuine legend. He got his signature boots, and honestly, the drip was immaculate. Imelda was super proud, but the divide between Puss and Humpty was getting massive. While Puss became the main character, Humpty was falling into a total villain arc. The Commandante warned Puss, but he was too deep in the Brotherhood to listen. Humpty started talking about pulling off a massive heist, which was definitely not the move. Puss tried to tell him they were better than being petty thieves, but Humpty was blinded by greed. Humpty played the orphan card, trying to guilt-trip Puss into breaking the law. Humpty finally tricked Puss into helping him commit a crime, claiming he was in deep with debt. Puss realized he had been played and was absolutely furious at the betrayal. The betrayal felt like a slap in the face to everything Puss stood for. Humpty tried to justify his trash behavior, but the bridge was already burning. Puss made the hardest decision of his life, choosing his honor over his brother. He felt like he let everyone down, and the guilt followed him like a shadow. His resentment for Humpty grew over the years, feeling like he was totally cooked. Humpty finally opened up about his regrets, showing a rare moment of vulnerability. He offered a path to redemption, promising to make things right for the town. Puss agreed for the sake of the town, not because he was ready to forgive just yet. He kept it professional, making sure Humpty knew they were not cool. Humpty was hyped, thinking he had finally secured his path to the beans. Puss kept the pressure on, knowing how flaky Humpty could be with these schemes. Humpty was still obsessed with his aesthetics, which was honestly a mood. He really thought his look was a priority during a high-stakes mission. They had to infiltrate the house, and the roleplay was getting weirdly intense. The strategy was wild, but they were desperate to get their hands on those beans. The mission was falling apart because they were totally unprepared for the chaos. Finally, they found the goods, and the tension was off the charts. The owners arrived, and the situation instantly went from bad to disastrous. They were caught red-handed, and the escape sequence was pure adrenaline. The chaos escalated, and it was clear they were going to have to fight for it. The villains were out for blood, and our duo was barely keeping it together. Puss made the call, and Humpty had to pull his weight in the final stretch. Puss barely survived a narrow miss, showing off his signature cat reflexes. He debunked the myth while dodging shots like an action movie star. Humpty acted like he saved the day, trying to reclaim his spot as a partner. The villains were relentless, chasing them through the streets like a nightmare. They barely made it out alive, feeling the heat of the chase behind them. They hit a dead end, and Humpty's plan turned out to be a massive bluff. Humpty jumped into the void, forcing Puss to follow him into the unknown. They were screaming for their lives, realizing they had absolutely no escape plan. The squad is locked in and the energy is absolutely immaculate as they head toward the giant's lair. Puss tries to play it cool, but you can tell the tension between him and the egg is low-key rising. Kitty finally drops the tea on her traumatic past, and it is genuinely sad. Puss drops a classic line while Kitty explains the tragic truth about her missing claws. They finally reach the spot and the vibe shifts into pure chaotic heist energy. They spot the mysterious clouds and you know it is about to get wild. Humpty is giving main character energy while trying to set up the magic beans without messing up the bag. The suspense is real as they wait for the beanstalk to burst forth from the ground. When nothing happens, the panic starts setting in and the group is totally cooked up. Puss tries to sweet-talk the bean sprout to get it moving, which is honestly hilarious. The beanstalk explodes upward, catching them by surprise as it launches them into the clouds. Their voices get super high-pitched due to the altitude and it is absolute comedy gold. Humpty is living his best life floating in the clouds like he owns the place. Puss and Kitty share a moment that is almost too cute for this high-stakes mission. Humpty gets sentimental, reminding Puss of their humble beginnings as orphans dreaming of a better life. They finally see the fortress in the clouds and the mission is officially a go. Puss realizes Humpty is completely exposed and the awkwardness is off the charts. Humpty is feeling himself, finally ready to prove all his haters wrong. The squad is locked in and focused on the massive goal ahead of them. Plot twist, there is no giant, but something way worse is lurking in the shadows. Puss is feeling the pressure as the reality of the Great Terror sinks in. The legend of the monster that turns people to stone keeps everyone on high alert. Humpty is struggling with his gear, making so much noise he might get them killed. The tension is skyrocketing as Humpty continues to panic and make a scene. They are literally sneaking past a mythical beast and the suspense is suffocating. Humpty is spiraling and Puss has to keep it together for the whole crew. They finally reach the treasure room and the sheer amount of gold is mind-blowing. The heist is officially on as they scramble to hoard the golden loot. The legendary goose appears, and she is honestly more adorable than anyone expected. Humpty forms a weirdly sweet connection with the goose almost instantly. It is a wholesome moment in the middle of a high-tension heist scene. They decide to snatch the goose, knowing full well it could lead to disaster. The monster wakes up and the group has to dip before they get turned into statues. A high-speed chase ensues and the animation is absolutely top-tier intensity. They are barely holding onto the goose while the monster hunts them down. In a moment of pure adrenaline, they make their desperate escape from the castle. The escape takes a turn and it looks like it might be over for them. The goose starts chirping and the bad guys are actually getting a kick out of it. The villains know the crew is coming back and they are ready to strike. The squad celebrates their massive win with a toast that is way too early. They break out into a celebratory dance, feeling like they are totally invincible. Puss and Kitty share a flirty moment that is low-key iconic. Kitty drops a heavy truth bomb, leaving Puss confused and suspicious. Puss tries to get to the bottom of Kitty's true intentions but she is playing hard to get. Kitty is trying to stay focused on the mission despite the insane chemistry. Puss is trying to convince Kitty he is not just a player, but she is skeptical. The town cheers for them, and they are riding a massive high right now. Kitty tries to ditch the party, which is definitely a major red flag. Puss and Humpty share a rare moment of genuine heart, making the betrayal sting even more later. They finally turn in for the night, totally unaware of the disaster waiting for them. Puss wakes up to a total nightmare, realizing everything has gone south. He is officially in revenge mode and you know it is about to get real. He is clearing the path and nothing is going to stop him from getting his answers. The realization hits Puss that he was played from the very start. The betrayal is setting in and the rage in his eyes is palpable. Puss is on a mission to redeem himself and save the day. He is piecing together the clues that point to a bigger conspiracy. He knows he cannot just rush in, he needs a tactical plan. The villains have no idea who they are messing with. Puss is done playing nice, it is time for the final showdown. He is rewriting his own destiny, one step at a time. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. She is the key to everything and he knows it. He knows exactly where he needs to go next. He is going all in, no matter what happens. The vibe is pure thriller and the stakes have never been higher. He is taking his pride back and going on the offensive. He has to move fast if he wants to stop the disaster. The transformation from hero to legend is officially complete. The stage is set for the epic conclusion that everyone is waiting for. Things get totally wild as Humpty tries to bribe Jack and Jill with gold, but these villains are just hungry for a breakfast upgrade. Humpty screams in terror, and suddenly Puss realizes he has been played the entire time. The lights flip on, and a crew of villains jumps out to reveal the ultimate betrayal party. Humpty drops the act and admits he has been plotting this revenge since his prison days. Puss is shook, realizing his entire adventure was just a calculated trap to feed Humpty's bitterness. The emotional stakes hit hard when Humpty accuses Puss of abandoning him on that bridge years ago. Puss is heartbroken that the promise of brothers forever meant so little to his former friend. Humpty is out for blood, and now Puss finally knows the cold sting of being stabbed in the back. Humpty declares the Bean Club officially over and orders the guards to lock Puss up. Humpty growls his final words of disdain as Puss is taken into custody for the bank heist. Imelda steps in, begging Puss to stop running and face his consequences like a true main character. Puss looks at his mother figure and finally accepts that he needs to stop breaking her heart. With tears in his eyes, Puss admits he let Imelda down, capping off his redemption arc. Humpty wheels out the golden goose, causing the crowd to go absolutely wild with greed. Humpty laughs maniacally while tossing gold to the masses, turning the town into a chaotic frenzy. Stripped of his gear, Puss sits in his cell, feeling like a total shell of his former self. The guard mocks Puss, claiming the prison is his new home forever, but the vibes are seriously off. Puss realizes Humpty's greed was never going to end well for the people of San Ricardo. Puss meets the legendary Andy Beanstalk, who spills the tea on how Humpty stole his magic beans. Andy reveals he is serving jail time because he traded someone else's cow for those fateful beans. Andy warns Puss that they are all doomed because Humpty only cared about his revenge. The plot thickens when Andy drops the bomb about the Great Terror, the goose's massive mama. Puss knows the town is in danger, but the guards think he is just losing his mind. Kitty Softpaws suddenly appears to bust Puss out, and the dynamic duo is back in action. Kitty handles the guards with insane precision, proving why she has such main character energy. Puss is shocked she came for him, but she is ready to help save the town. Puss is laser-focused on the mission, and there is zero time for awkward small talk. Kitty drops the reveal that she cares about something, or someone, more than just the gold. The banter is top tier as they admit their feelings for each other amidst all this chaos. Puss tries to play it cool, but Kitty knows they are finally on the same page. Kitty saves Puss again, reminding him that he owes her big time for this rescue. Even with the guards closing in, Puss and Kitty realize they make an unstoppable team. The chase is on, and Puss is ready to reclaim his legendary status. They sync up, proving that their chemistry is totally on another level now. Puss drops the weather report, confirming the giant goose is coming to wreck everything. The echoes of their past promise haunt Puss as he hunts down Humpty to fix things. Humpty is frantically trying to escape before the mama goose turns the town into rubble. Puss catches up, but Humpty is still too stubborn to realize the scale of his mistake. Humpty realizes his revenge plot has accidentally put the entire city in the firing line. Humpty admits his deep-seated abandonment issues, finally explaining his motive for the betrayal. Puss begs Humpty to tap into his inner inventor and dreamer to help save the town. Humpty feels like his life is cooked, but Puss refuses to let his brother go out like that. Puss offers forgiveness if Humpty steps up, showing that even a cat can change his ways. Humpty hesitates, but he finally decides to show everyone that he is a good egg deep down. The redemption arc is fully engaged as Humpty gears up to help Puss survive the terror. They formulate a plan to distract the massive mama while saving the precious goose baby. Puss leads the massive monster away from the terrified crowd, showing insane bravery. The chase scene is absolute fire as they sprint across the town toward the bridge. Puss takes a massive risk, leaning into his role as a hero to protect the innocent. They push their limits as the Great Terror thrashes, trying to reach her golden baby. Kitty jumps in for support, making the combat scenes look smooth and totally effortless. Humpty is struggling, but he is determined to finish the mission with Puss. Everything goes south, and Humpty finds himself dangling over the edge of doom. Puss refuses to leave his brother behind, cementing his status as the ultimate ride or die. Humpty beats himself up, but Puss reminds him of their unbreakable bond. They share a poignant moment that proves blood is thicker than water, or in this case, yolk. The mantra returns as they face the impossible to keep their connection alive. Humpty makes the ultimate sacrifice, telling Puss to let him go so the city survives. Puss screams as he tries to keep his brother safe from the brink of destruction. Humpty lets go, accepting his fate to ensure the mama goose is finally reunited with her baby. Puss watches as Humpty fulfills his promise, forever changing how he sees his friend. The town realizes Puss is a legend, not an outlaw, and he finally earns the respect he deserves. Imelda beams at Puss, confirming that he really has grown into a true hero. The boots now represent honor, and Puss wears them with pride after his massive glow-up. Puss says a touching goodbye to his mother figure, knowing he is finally on the right path. Puss and Kitty share a flirty moment, hinting that their story is far from over. Kitty winks at him, and the audience knows they are the ultimate power couple. Puss reflects on his crazy journey from a misunderstood outlaw to a full-blown icon. He declares his name to the world, solidifying his status as a cinematic masterpiece. The camera pans out as he struts away, fully embracing the legend he has become. Puss ends his epic run with his signature charm and a sip of milk. If you loved this wild recap of Puss in Boots, you know what to do next. Hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite legendary movies. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss another high-stakes recap from this channel. Drop a comment below with which hero we should cover next, because we keep it locked. Thanks for watching, stay legendary, and we will catch you in the next big video.